welcome to our final Bachelor in Paradise recap episode. We are both excited, well, I'm excited and sad to be talking about the last episode, but this podcast isn't going anywhere. We will still be here each week talking about everything Bachelor because, you know, we just love it. I'm your host, Sarah, excited to dive into this crazy, long 3-hour episode that I don't know if we really needed or not, but, you know, whatever. And with me, as always, is my co-host, J Wade.
I'm still exhausted from that marathon last night, and I'm like you, happy, a little sad, but I'm actually I'm a little mad too at some stuff that went on. So
yeah, we felt all the emotions last night.
Oh yeah, the whole spectrum.
Literally watching that episode, I was happy. I was crying for 2
Oh, I
reasons.
cried too. Yeah, I cried too, man. There was a couple spots. Yeah.
It was something. So we are covering last night's finale. Only one episode, but it was 3 hours, so basically 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But right off the bat, we are going to recap Hannah Brown, just Hannah, on Dancing with the Stars, because we are not a Dancing with the Stars recap show. We will not be recapping the entire show. Honestly, like, that would be awful.
Oh, it was. Oh, I don't even know if we did that, I might actually quit, and you'd have to find someone else to talk about that stupid show.
You messaged me and you said, "I'm so sorry that I got us into this." Talking
yeah,
about
it's. And when I say it's a stupid show, I don't mean that in a way like knocking on people who really enjoy it. You know, I mean, it's nothing like that. I don't care what other people enjoy, and I hope they enjoy what they enjoy. But for me, it was really hard to sit through all of that. It's like The Bachelor. I'd never watched Dancing with the Stars either. I know what it is, and I'm familiar with the format and what they do. Yeah. I just never actually watched it.
Wow.
So I won't lie, I was extremely bored.
Oh my God, it's so boring. I feel like it's gotten so much boring. Like, I watched it years ago, like the 8 and 9, 10 seasons. Like, it's on season 24 or 8, I don't know. 28, I don't know. It's on like a really high season. Like, I watched it a long time ago, and it's changed a lot. A lot of it's the same. It's the same judges, which is shocking. I was like, these 3 people are still here? Like, what the heck? And like, they've changed locations of certain things. I think it's a different studio now, but everything's basically the same except for they had like an opening skit thing, and then they did a lot of like skit intros, which I did not like at all. And like before, they never did that when I watched it. I don't know how soon they introduced that. Like, I appreciate that the show is like, it seems like they're trying different things. They said they're trying a new elimination thing. Like, they seem like they're evolving, and they do more like theme nights and different things like that. But like, I liked it for the ballroom dancing. Like, I don't know, like, I got really into that. And before, like, it would start out with each couple, like, they were longer videos of the couples showing them practice, and you really got to know them. Like, it wasn't these dumb skits. Like, you would see them practice for probably like 2 to 3 minutes and see their interactions and stuff like that. And I really liked that. Like, I thought that was cool. And I don't know, I was just like, I don't appreciate these stupid skits. Like,
oh yeah, Hannah B, the introduction of Hannah B, which thank God she was first. Well, I'm going to bring this up because when we were talking, you were like, I might just watch Hannah B and nothing else. And I knew you hadn't watched it when it aired, but I was watching it when it aired. So when you told me that, my first thought was, well, F you, because she went first, and I'm sitting here over halfway through this show, you know, and I was like, man, Sarah's got the right idea.
So I waited until it came on Hulu the next day, and I was lucky for some, like, sometimes Hulu gives me like no commercials for some reason. So I didn't have any commercials when I watched it, so I was just skipping through like all the talking and getting just to the dance. It took me probably like 40 minutes as opposed to 2 hours. Like I was just clicking through, like just watching the dancing. Oh, it was great. I highly recommend like just clicking through all the stuff if you can.
Yeah, and once you told me that's what you did, I was like, that's brilliant. I'm going to start doing that too. Yeah,
because even
that's
Hulu,
what I'm going to do.
Like, that's how I would watch Bachelor in Paradise, too, because on Hulu, they cut out, the commercials are only, like, 80 seconds or something. So it cuts down to, like, an hour and 25 minutes as opposed to 2 hours on TV. So that's how I do it. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I have a beef with ABC right now because...
I do, too, but let's get into yours first.
Well, besides that, but with Dancing with the Stars... I have a beef with, they start the show, the first person you see is Hannah. Is the very start of the show with the whole skit. It's Hannah, the Bachelorette. And then Hannah's the first person that gets introduced. And Hannah's the first person to dance. And you see Hannah's skit and she's doing the whole Bachelorette thing. And I was like, oh my God, like they are shoving this. And you see Chris Harrison, like they are shoving their other show down our throat. Like it's Hannah, the Bachelorette. And I was like, oh my God, like I get it. Like I just felt like she was so catered to, which I mean, good for her. Like, I don't know. I love her. And like, it's a marketing thing, of course. They're trying to get this younger millennial generation to watch the show by like, here's Hannah, you loved her, she was quirky. Like, I don't know. It just really bothered me because I was like, like she's just getting all this attention because it's ABC. And then they had some of the cast. They had like Demi, Tayshia, Dylan, and Christina, I think, were at one of those round tables right off the dance floor. So I was like, they're getting promotion that way. Like, it just rubbed me the wrong way, but I get it.
Yeah, because when old girl from The Office, I can't remember her name on The Office or Meredith. Off of it. Meredith. When the woman who played Meredith was on there, the girl who played Angela was sitting at a round table behind her, and I was like, hey, that's Angela.
Yeah, me too. I was like, Angela!
Yeah, she's great.
But so Hannah came out right off the bat dancing to I Want to Dance with Somebody, which I was like, okay, girl, you get it. Starts out with like a little solo dance thing going on. I'm like, okay.
I want to dance with somebody.
I think it was...
I want to feel the heat with somebody.
I think it was a cha-cha.
Oh, I want to dance with somebody.
Okay.
With somebody who loves me.
Okay.
Ooh, hey. All right, sorry about that. I had that song stuck in my head the entire day at work that next day. I was singing it the whole time, and it was killing me.
I thought the dance was really good.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. Like, the first week is always the roughest because... like you're just warming up and stuff like that, and then it gets better as time goes on. But she was the second highest score of the night. She led the pack until the very last dance, which was James Vanderbeek, right? I know who he is. I just don't know how to say his name.
I just call him Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, Dawson Creek. That's how I know him. Like, it's Dawson Creek. He was also on an episode of How I Met Your Mother, and which is my favorite TV show, so that's how I associate certain actors. I'm like, oh, they were on this one episode of How I Met Your Mother. Yeah. But he has like 5 kids. Like, okay, that's besides the point. But I was like,
he doesn't? Does he really?
You didn't see that little? They did a little thing, and it was his little blonde children. There was like 5 or 6 of them.
Holy crap!
I know, and they were all super young. I was like, oh my God, like, okay. He was also really good too. They're definitely leading the pack, like those two, and which you're upset because that means we have to watch the show.
Yeah, because I did tell you, I was like, man, I kind of hope Hannah gets booted off soon. But then I saw her dance, and I was like, uh-oh.
We're gonna cover the show just as long as she's on it, and I'm like, she's probably gonna go all the way to the finale.
Vanderbeek. Dude, I'm sorry. He has nothing to do with any of this, but I cannot let this go without saying he danced his butt off, dude. It was so good.
It was really good.
So
I think it
good.
was a foxtrot. I don't remember what the song was, but it was really good.
Oh, he is her only competition right now.
I know we're not, this isn't a recap show, but I didn't think all the other people were that bad. Like, I was honestly, like, kind of shocked with some, maybe because there were certain ones I was like, that was really boring. Like,
right.
I don't know, but people are like, I didn't think Sean Spicer was that bad, but I guess
it wasn't good dancing, but it wasn't bad as far as entertainment value.
I was very entertained. Like, there were some of them I was like, this is boring, but other ones I was like, I'm super entertained right now.
Dude, yeah. Because I was like, dude, Spicer's on here. How is this going to go over? Just given everything.
I want him to stay on because he was entertaining.
Oh yeah, I am convinced. Okay, I'm convinced
he will stay for a while.
Yes, the American people will vote to keep him around.
It's embarrassing.
Yes, but then think how demoralizing that has to be for one of the other contestants who gets booted off just because people want entertainment value from Spicer.
And he comes out with this like green, like, I don't know, cabana.
It was the Seinfeld poofy shirt, the pirate shirt.
Oh my god! Oh, like lime green. I loved it. I was like, okay, like this is amazing. But that's the end of Dancing with the Stars talk.
Hannah did great. She came in second. What's next, Sarah?
What's next? We will be recapping that as long as she's on the show. So probably for the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. But the reason why we're here to talk about that finale, and let's just jump into it. We're just going to jump couple by couple and some of the interactions. Okay, so let's jump right into it, starting with Nicole and Clay. We just kind of start out with the fantasy suite, which was insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nicole and Clay's relationship. I have a lot of feelings about everything that happened. So they're at the fantasy suite, and she's clearly convinced that they're going to get engaged. Spoiler, they did not get engaged. She left. And they didn't even spend the night together. Which their whole interaction was kind of confusing, and honestly, like, I wasn't really paying attention, so maybe that's why I feel like it was confusing. But I was kind of like, oh, he's leaving now? Like, what's happening? Like, why is he not spending the night? I don't know if he like came out off the bat and said that he didn't want to spend the night. Like, I was just confused about.
He was saying that, like, basically for him, it was like he was having a hard time with saying I love you, and said that he wasn't there yet, and that they still had a little bit more to go outside of Bachelor in Paradise before he would get to the I love you part. And
understandable.
And I made a note of this because she made it clear that she wants love in 30 days. And this is less than 30 days. But she wants love with 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm like, dude, shut up. That is completely unrealistic. Yeah. And for you to try to push this on him, no wonder he's confused as hell.
Yeah. So here's the thing is that, like, I see a lot of people like rallying for Nicole and being like, you're right, he led you on. I do not think Clay led her on. I do not think Clay blindsided her. I mean, maybe there's things we didn't see, but from what we've seen, I think Clay was very upfront with her, saying like, look, like, I'm starting to fall in love. Like, there were clearly signs that he was just not into it as far as she was, or that he was just not there. Like, he said to her last week, he said, you're my best friend on the beach. Like, look, we don't really know each other. We shouldn't move in together. Let's continue our relationship before we rush into an engagement. And honestly, like, he dated Angela for 8 months and did not say I loved you, did not propose, like, you know what I mean? And now, like, she thinks him coming in here after 18 days, he's going to say that he loves her. Like, that's what's so just kind of like, Nicole, like, yes, you yes, you deserve to be loved, and yes, you deserve a love so deep that the ocean is jealous or whatever. Like, I hate when women say that. I'm sorry. Like, maybe that's just whatever of me. I hate it when people and women say, like, I deserve to be loved. I deserve this. Like, you do, but, like, just because a guy isn't giving the all that you think a guy should be giving you does not mean that he's treating you bad, or does not mean that he is not, like, loving you fiercely. You know what I mean? Like, it was just very, like, you two were clearly on two separate pages, and now it just feels like she's trying to make Clay, like, the bad guy, where it's kind of like, Nicole, like, just own up to the fact that you were on different pages. Like,
yeah. And I mean, he even told her, he's sitting there telling her, like, he's like, I'm just trying to be as open and honest with you as I can. He said those words. And she like, still is just like, it's not good enough. And I'm just like, girl, no wonder you're single. And two, you keep this up, you're never going to find a man.
It just feels like she had really high standards. And, like, and that's why I feel like her and Christian, the one that got kicked off the show,
yeah.
I feel like they would be great together, because he was very, like, big gestures and big romantic things, where I don't feel like that really is Clay's style. Like, I feel like Clay's a little bit more reserved, which is important when we get to Chris and Katie later about opposites and being completely different. Like, I feel like Nicole needs someone that is outgoing, and Clay is, and that's what she even said, like, I want you to be more aggressive. I like aggressive men. Like, I just don't think they really work together, and I think he was being very reasonable and, like, realistic out of everything, and that's just not what she wanted.
Well, honestly, I don't think she knows what she wanted. Because, well, you know, going back to the whole she wanted Clay to be more aggressive.
And then she didn't.
And then she didn't. You know, and that she wanted aggression, then she got aggression, then she didn't like the aggression, so she went, you know, and it's just like, girl, you are a mess. Maybe, I mean, not in a rude way, but maybe take some you time in real life and away from all the social media and the stupid show, and do you for a while. Get yourself in a really good, solid place. Get to where you know what you want, and then go get it from someone who is, you know, now Clay didn't do nothing wrong, but like you were saying, they were just on two different pages. Yeah. But there are guys out there who are going to be on the page that she's on. So find those guys.
She's very, I feel like she's like someone that's like head over heels, like romantic, and wants very passionate relationships and crazy and hot, and you know what I mean, like just like unpredictable craziness. And I feel like Clay's a little bit more grounded and doesn't want, like, she's probably like, let's go dancing every night, you know what I mean, like wants to go out and do things. And I feel like Clay's the kind of person like, let's stay home, let's travel.
And he said that too, I think. He said, you know, like, and you know what I think that might have a lot to do with? The fact that he's a former NFL football player. He's, well, NFL, National Football League, but anyway, he's a former NFL player, 8 or 9 seasons. So in that amount of time, I can totally see him having lived an outrageously great party life. And
I think he's just ready to settle down.
Yeah, he's probably just ready to settle down. He lived 8 or 9 years as an NFL player, partying it up, you know, and that probably is where he's at now. Is just he's done with all the craziness. He's done with the late night parties, the just everything. I wouldn't, and I don't blame him, man. If I put my body through that and all the travel and all the work into that for 8, 9 years. Man, I'd be ready just to sit down and do absolutely nothing too.
Yeah. So they don't get engaged. She storms off. Oh my God. I was like, what is happening right now? Like, she's just goes up and starts saying this whole speech to him. And then she says, answer me. You have to answer me yes or no. Do you love me? And I'm just like, girl, you know what he's going to say to you. Like, you know that he is not going to say, like, does she really expect him? I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I don't. So then she just goes off and says, I can't, and just leaves.
Yeah. Just like, what?
And he's like, and she's like crying in the van. And my favorite thing that he said, which I was like, oh my God, did he just say that? Where he was like, can we stop at a pub?
Yeah, that was great.
I was like, oh my God. So then we don't see anything of them on the reunion show. So.
Well, I'll bring this up real quick. Ashley, Jared and Ashley's, Ashley, I can't pronounce her last name.
Iconetti.
Iconetti?
Yeah. Ashley
side note, ask me after the show. I'm pretty sure I can pronounce your last name now. Yes, but she had tweeted out after the episode last night. She's like, "Can we talk about Clay and Nicole's segment being cut?"
Yes.
Is what she said. So I'm wondering, maybe they were there and just something.
I have information.
Oh, please tell me, because it seems like they weren't even there at all.
No, they were there. Clay and Nicole came out, and they posted. Clay came out, posted a picture on Instagram saying here's proof that we were there. They were both sitting on the couch. Nicole was out there by herself, and at one point towards the end of the show, I saw him sitting with the rest of the cast, and I was like, oh, but they never mentioned Clay, whatever. Clay put out a tweet saying that he had a vacation planned for that date 6 months in advance, and the producers were like, no, we need you to be there, so he canceled it, and then they didn't even show any of his stuff.
That's BS.
Yeah, I was like, that sucks. So I guess
wouldn't have went, even if they would have showed my stuff. No. I still would have been like, no, I've had this planned for 6 months. You do not own my life.
So he was like, he said that what happened was I guess he said it was just basically the same stuff during the engagement, of the fact that he really wanted to keep a relationship with her, but he did not feel like they were ready and to get engaged and stuff like that. And I guess she just wasn't really receptive of it on there, but he said that he wishes the best for her and her relationship. So he said her and her relationship. So now people are saying or thinking that she's already dating someone, but I have no idea. But she posted something on Instagram, this whole post, and it was really kind of shady.
I mean, of course it was.
I don't even know where it is, but it was real shady, talking about it was the whole thing that I love, when she was like, ladies, don't settle for anyone, don't and saying that she completely understands where Angela's at. I think she said that on the show too.
Oh, shut up, Nicole. You wanted love after 18 days. Shut up.
She was like, I completely understand how Angela felt. Where what?
No, she can't. She has no idea how Angela felt.
No, not at all. So she said, this is just a little part of it, but she said,
wow.
Ladies, we don't have to put up with anything less than wonderful. We are worthy of someone's complete and all-encompassing respect, time, love, honesty, and energy. Then she said, when a man's actions don't line up with his word, when a man promises fall flat, and when a man dares to string you along, whether it was for 16 days or for 18 months, knowing very well he does not see a future with you, we're better off on our own than loving a man who doesn't know what he has when he has it. And she goes,
says the woman who ditched him to go off with Christian and was making out with him, but she wants to run her effing mouth like she has a right or she's in any position to say anything.
And then went on a date with Jordan too. She went on 2 dates. Yeah. And just kind of left them.
Dude, she's terrible. Screw her. For real, that's terrible, man. He was honest with her. That's why she left him. Because he was honest with her, and she didn't like the honesty.
Yeah, and that's where she says there's to string you on for 16 days or 8 months. That's why I'm just did he make promises to her that we didn't see? Maybe there's another side of it, but he seemed pretty upfront. I feel like there were a lot of warning and red flags that she just was oblivious to or just chose not to see. But they're not together. They didn't hook up after. Sometimes couples get back together. If they're not together, it doesn't seem like she wants anything to do with him. Didn't even mention him by name. So
I hope to God there are no young ladies out there who look up to this girl. For real. I hope to God, man. That's just, she's terrible.
Honestly, I hope there aren't people looking up to any of these people. Because
yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that will lead us into our next relationship that is just not a healthy relationship at all, and I really hope people do not look towards them as like a influence or whatever. Is Katie and Chris.
Oh my gosh.
So Katie and Chris, they actually spend a night in the fantasy suite. They get engaged, but whatever. Oh my God. I don't understand. Like, just please break up.
Yeah.
Please break. Like, okay, so they get engaged and that's great. But what I have an issue with, Katie comes out on stage by herself, not wearing her engagement ring, and sits there and starts like shit talking her relationship with Chris not out there, starts talking about how she's exhausted and she's giving all of herself to him and he's not returning anything, and she's just giving and she's a happy person, but this relationship is draining her. And I'm like, red flag. red flags, like just going on, and then she's like, we're still engaged, everything's fine, but like I'm exhausted and I just don't know what to do. So then they bring Chris out, and Chris comes out, and Chris Harrison is like, do you know any of this? And Chris like just kind of looks, I wouldn't say shocked, but I don't know, maybe shocked. Like he was just kind of like, yeah, like I don't even know what's going on. So then they bring the ring back out, which a lot of people are speculating that Katie gave back like, why would the producers have the ring? So they're thinking that
was weird.
She gave it, like maybe she gave it back to them. But even though she was saying that they were engaged, like maybe she was going to call it off. Like they have no idea. But the best and worst part is when after all of that, and you see them in the back lot, and Chris is like, you blindsided me. Like you completely like, and she's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? It was literally like an almost divorced couple fighting, and they've been together for like 3 months.
Yeah, and see, my take on this is completely opposite from you.
Really?
Yes. I was crying because I could feel where she was coming from, and I could understand exactly what she was saying. I don't think now if she had intended on staying engaged to him, I don't think it's cool that she wasn't wearing the ring. You wear the ring, okay, and unless you're not going to be with that person, because it symbolizes a commitment that you're going to actually work through things and try to be together. But that aside, I didn't take it like her shit talking on him. She was saying these things. Well, she was saying these things when he wasn't there, but I mean, I just took it as she was just saying her side of it, and I could relate to it. And then for me, thinking back to them on the island, it made sense because he really seemed withdrawn. And then when he came out, it reinforced what she was saying more, because he was completely emotionless. Like
he has been the entire season.
Yeah, and that's and part of that falls on her for, she should have seen that he's emotionless and realized that there's going to be some issues. But either way, she's expressing how she feels and that she's trying to make it work. And then he's just out there like completely emotionless. Like, I mean, he didn't address a single thing that she had said. He was just, I really want to make this work. I really want to try. But even when he's saying that, it was completely emotionless. And then when they were backstage and he's mad at her, like, I feel blindsided. I'm thinking, you feel blindsided?
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
you feel blindsided.
I completely agree with everything you're saying. Like, I don't think Katie should have, and I don't think she intentionally went out there to say all that. So I don't think she was like, I'm going to, because that's why she was like crying. Like, I really don't think that was her plan at all. And it was like very real. And I also kind of feel like you, like Chris, like you shouldn't be blindsided. Like I'm just kind of like, how do they not realize that this is not? And I get it goes back to like there's a lot we don't see, and I think Katie did post something like there's a lot you don't really see for people like questioning our relationship and stuff like that, but it's just kind of like I understand like relationships are hard, but there is a point where like the initial start of your relationship should not be this hard. Like you should not feel like you're giving everything of you to make it work. Like I guess it's like 3 months in. Like I don't know. It shouldn't be that hard right off the bat, really.
Yeah, and you know, I've been in her position before where
me too.
and even where I know it's not going to work. I know that this other person is not giving me their all and they're never going to, but where I'm at is I'm so in love with them that I'm blinded by all of this, even though I know it's going on, in the hopes that it will happen.
Yeah.
So when I say this next statement, I'm putting it on him because I've been in her position and she is completely blinded by her love for him.
Yeah.
He needs to let her go. And not in a way where like he needs to dump her because she's crazy. No, he needs to man up and realize the hell that he's putting her through and just let her go and let her rebuild her life.
Exactly. She is going to stay because like that's just the kind of person it seems like she is, and that's what she's saying, that she gives so much to her friends and she's this loving person and she cares so deeply. And like I'm not saying that I don't think Chris is evil. Like I don't think Chris is manipulating her. I just don't think they're compatible. Like I just think, like, again, kind of what Clay, like Chris seems he's a little bit older than Katie, and I think Chris is really just looking for someone to settle down with, and like the same thing, like just relax and just a normal outside of this whole reality TV world. He's been in The Bachelor for like 9 years or whatever, and Katie's just getting started and maybe wants to start career. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like they're on two separate pages, and I just don't think, like, even personality wise, like they don't seem compatible. Like she's very like, let's talk about our feelings. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. And I need verbal. Like she needs a lot of communication. And he just seems like disconnected from everything all of the time.
It just, I don't know. I feel really bad for her. I was crying right along with her because because I've been in her place before. I was in her place. 5 years ago, it finally hit me that it wasn't going to happen, and it took 5 years of. And this is, and I'm going to admit how absolutely stupid I used to be, because this is stupid. I had an internet relationship with this girl for like 4 years, dude. Okay, that's dumb. I was stupid. But it came to an end when she said I could go to Florida to meet her. I went to Florida to meet her, and I sat in a hotel 10 minutes from her house for a week, and she refused to answer any of my calls. And so, but my point is that I understand where she's coming from, and I felt really, really bad for her. And I really hope that it doesn't take an absolutely life-shattering thing like what I went through to finally get knocked into a good state of mind to where I can see what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't want her to go through some truly, truly soul-crushing things. You can tell she's already going through a lot, and I feel really bad for her. I don't think Chris is a jerk or mean or anything, but it's not working, and he is not manning up and admitting it and letting her move on. I don't know what he's thinking, but it just doesn't make no sense.
I can say he's probably like, I got this girl that's all in for me, and that is like letting me know how much she loves me, and probably doing things for him and stuff like that. Like, he's probably just like comfortable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
If that is the case, then yes, he's being a jerk. If that's the case. Selfish. But yes, that's the word, selfish.
Maybe he just is oblivious. I don't know. He kind of seems like the type of guy that's just kind of oblivious on how relationships work. Like, I don't know.
I mean, he shows no emotion, whether it's good or bad.
No.
Very odd, but yeah, I feel bad for Katie. I hope she can move on and find somebody.
Yeah. Well, they're still dating as of right now. The reunion was filmed like a couple weeks ago, but
I was surprised it wasn't live.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that. They both posted something about how they're gonna like make it work and really focus on each other and stuff like that. So hopefully it works out for them. I don't know, but I hope it does. So we're going to take a little break. You can listen to some promos right now about some shows that we have on this network. Yeah.
Hey everybody, Jay Wade here to tell you about Afterlive, our unofficial Collider Live after show podcast that's like sitting in your living room on a Saturday night hanging with your friends. Sarah, Kaylin, Mike, and I talk about everything from Roxy being directionally challenged, Christian never having watched a thing, Dorina's witchy ways, Makuga being scared of everything, to Yodi screaming that it's not a big fucking deal. Find us on Merc with a Movie blog on all your podcasting platforms, including Anchor. Talk to you then.
Hey there, Schmodown fans. This is Josh the Merc Rainer, and I am here to tell you about my show, Talkin' Schmodown. Whether it's Andrew Guy getting hit with a chair, John Roca screaming, "Outlaw!" or the emotional retirement of the Shire Wolves, I talk about it all. So you can catch me right here on Anchor and all the other major podcasting platforms. So, as I ask every episode, are you ready to talk Schmodown? I am.
And we're back. Make sure you check out those great shows, and I'm sure many more to come. Super excited. I don't know. I'm just making that up. I hope there's more shows to come.
I'm personally working on it, so we're hoping to expand.
I have some ideas. I don't have
good.
the time.
We'll talk about that.
I don't have the time, but I have all of the ideas. Anyway, so moving on to our last two couples. I mean, don't have really much to say about some of them, but next couple we can talk about is Hannah and Dylan. Everything's great. Moving on.
Next.
They got engaged. Everything's perfect. They're still madly in love with each other. She's moving out to California from Alabama. Like, they're just whatever, perfect love.
She's from Alabama too?
Yes. She's
like the other Hannah?
Yes. She's also Hannah, Alabama as well. So she was Hannah G and Hannah was Hannah B on Colton season, but they were both from Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Yeah, crazy.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, so instead of seeing like Nicole and Clay on the reunion show, we had to watch Dylan and Hannah be like madly in love with each other. So,
which is no fun. We don't watch this to see good relationships. I mean, come on.
Do you think they're gonna do you think they're actually gonna get married?
No. I think Hannah will end up seeing a shiny new guy and get distracted.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
especially if she's moving to LA. And I'm not trying to be. I'm just saying. If you think about it, from Alabama to LA, there's going to be a huge selection of fish for her out there.
I think Dylan is so sweet that like she's probably going to get over it real soon. I don't know.
Yeah, he is a really nice guy. I mean, for his sake, I hope it works out. But
me too.
I just don't see it happening.
Crushed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then our last couple that got engaged is Christian and Demi. I was not sure about this one. The other two I knew for sure, but this one I was like, I'm not really sure if they're going to end up getting engaged. And they did, and it was really sweet, and I was like crying. I was like, I love them so much. And someone pointed out that like Christian, I loved how like Christian like got down on Demi's level when she proposed and like said yes, and like she didn't like look at the ring right away. Like she was like all into like the moment with like Demi. Like I don't know, I just thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
Like theirs felt the most genuine and like real out of like the other couples. It felt like they were chasing the ring, or like Demi and Christian felt like, oh, this was planned from the beginning of the relationship. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and they had been dating before the show too, so they had a head start on everybody.
Absolutely.
I still don't think they're going to work out in the end. I hope they do. Above all of the couples, I hope they work out the most. But I don't know. I don't. And I was thinking that especially last night, like they were right before Christian proposed, she had this look on her face, and I was like, man, she is not, like, she's questioning this relationship. Then I realized she was just nervous because she was about to propose. But I've still got a feeling that maybe they've got some stuff to work out as far as Demi being comfortable in a homosexual relationship in public, especially like she had expressed concerns about, and on Christian's end, I think maybe she still has some of those lingering thoughts of like, you know, we were dating and she left me to go on this show and got in a relationship with someone else. And I think maybe that might end up eating away at Christian eventually. Now, I hope I'm completely wrong. I really do. I love Demi so much, but I don't know. I hope they can make it work. But you're right. They are, of all the couples, they are the strongest couple by far. That's obvious. And they're certainly the most open and honest with each other too, which is what's going to make them last if they do.
Exactly. I think they'll last for a while if they don't end up getting married. And I think if they don't end up getting married, I think it will be because like just separate way. Like I don't know. Like I think it will be like a healthy end. Like that's what it seems like.
Right.
Like, they both seem very like mature. Like they've handled everything so well, and
yeah, they have.
I mean, it's been great, and I think it's really important thing for ABC to like show. And also, but I do like how honest Demi has been about like the struggle that it's really put on her, and how she's been like, this has been really hard, like having the pressure of being the first female couple and being the first lesbian or LGBTQ relationship proposal in all of Bachelor, like I think for any of the shows, like any international or anything like that. And I'm sure like that's so much pressure, and especially on like primetime TV, like where it's reaching a lot of people and people are hearing about it and talking about it. Like I really applaud her, and she really has. Demi is a lot different than the girl we saw on Colton season, who I loved her on Colton season, and she was like feisty. She was feisty on Bachelor, but Bachelor in Paradise, but she was like just kind of funny and feisty and outgoing, and we didn't see this like sensitive like side of her. And I don't know, I think she's the realest person that I've ever seen on this show. Like she's just been so real, and I think, I don't know, I loved it. I love watching her. I was confused why Christian proposed last night, but
yeah, I wrote in my notes, what? Demi and Christian get engaged again.
Again? They got another.
I can understand. Like, I don't know. I kind of can't understand it, but in a way, I kind of can understand it. You know what I mean? But I kind of can't. But
I was like,
the bottom line is they're still engaged. So cool.
Again. I was like, did something happen? Did they call it off? Like, I don't know. I was like, whatever, that's cool. So there was some like other stuff that kind of happened. We had a couple get together after the show, which has happened in the past. I don't understand. I I'm so conflicted. We have Tayshia comes out and they're doing this whole thing like they haven't seen each other but since the breakup, and they're sitting there and he's like, did you make a mistake? And she goes, yes. And then we see them and they meet up and they're officially boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah. Which is cute. It's sweet. They're a very odd couple, but I'm telling you, when they're like their sweet moments and stuff, like when they're giggling, and I mean, it really is heartwarming. Even if you're sitting there like me, I'm sitting there like, dude, just laughing at it because it's silly. But inside, I'm like, man, this is really awesome. This is adorable.
Oh yes, I love their goofiness. I love their playfulness. I don't understand the relationship because it feels like Tayshia is always talking to him like, oh, JPJ, like her son or like a little bro. Like, I'm like, girl, why are you talking to him like that? Like, she's just like, JPJ, I'm dating JPJ. I'm like, woman, like, get a hold of yourself. Like, come on. Like,
they have kids and they have a son and name him John Paul Jones Jr. So then she's like, oh, JPJ Jr.
She's just like, I get it. Like, girl, have your fun. Like, seems, I think she recently, like in the last year and a half, got a divorce. So I'm sure, like, go out, have your fun. It just feels so, I don't know. Is that mean? Like, it just feels like rebound. Like, total, I don't know what her ex-husband is like, but it feels like it has to be a 180, right? Like, he has to be the complete opposite.
It is a complete, like, as outsiders looking in, it's like, dude, this just the optics of it looks a little odd, and not in, you know, and it just a blonde surfer type guy, which is funny to say because he was from the Midwest originally, and now he lives on the East Coast.
So apparently, one of my podcasts said that his dad was the CEO of Payless and JCPenney.
Really?
So they rich.
Wow.
They kind of both went out of business, but I don't know if that's entirely true. That's just what a podcast said. But he's like, he works in JPJ like works in an office. He's like a billing. He's like a billing something. Like he does something with like bills and yeah. So he's smart.
Holy crap.
I know. So all those people kept saying like he's so intelligent. I'm like, yeah, okay. I guess he is.
Yeah, and every time he'd tell Derek, don't insult my intelligence, Derek, I started laughing. I'm like, dude, that does not sound right coming out of your mouth. Not saying that you're dumb. It's obvious he's not dumb. But just hearing him with that, it's that surfer dude accent.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how intelligent the person is. It's just one of those accents that just... it sounds goofy and silly, and a lot of people, including myself, associate that with maybe a lack of intelligence. Yeah. And I realize I'm digging a hole for myself here as I keep talking, but I'm also trying to not dig the hole.
So, congrats to JPJ and Tayshia. Weirdest thing ever. Did not expect that. People were like shipping JPJ. I don't think anyone was like Tayshia and JPJ are going to come out of this in a couple. Like I don't think anyone said that. So if you did, good for you. So did anything else stand out to you? Like was there anything that was your? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I've got some beef, man.
Okay.
All right, Blake. The whole Blake thing.
Oh crap.
Okay.
I want to
know
about it.
The only I don't care about it, all of that is overdone, overplayed. But what I can't stand
idiot.
is everyone demanding that he apologize. I want to say this right now. No one is entitled to an apology. Mm-hmm. And to demand one is stupid. And it shows how self-centered you are. And if you still want, or it's just, I just can't, my mind is just racing thinking about just the demanding of an apology. Are you serious? why do you want someone or demand someone to apologize to you if they're not willing to just do it and offer it on their own? It's not sincere. Who wants a sincere apology unless they just want to knock somebody down a peg? And that's how I took that whole thing. It was like 3 or 4 people up there yelling at him, demanding an apology at the same time. And the only reason I could see for it was to try to make him look like an ass clown on public national TV and to try to knock him down a few pegs after he's already, rightfully so, been knocked down a few pegs. And that just enraged me. I can't stand that. If he's sorry, he'll say it. If he's not sorry, then let him just go. Why do you want a fake apology? That is some self-centered shit right there.
So, okay, so here's the whole thing is that, like, it's a really tough situation because the show itself is edited, so things are edited for certain narratives, so certain conversations are going to be cut out, and it's going to be edited to show someone in a certain light. So Blake obviously did not get a great edit on the show, and I mean I'm not saying like he should, but it's really tricky in the sense of like I get where Blake is coming from when he was saying, like, I released the text messages because no one was going to believe me if I didn't. And I have to clear my name. And I completely get where he's coming from. Dude. And I'm honestly conflicted about it. Like, I'm honestly kind of like, a lot of people are saying he shouldn't have done that. And I'm conflicted in the sense of like, yes, it's Kaylin's very personal text messages, and yes, it's only showing him in a certain light, and yes, he could have picked out the worst ones, like all of that. But at the same time, like I completely understand where Blake is coming from. And a lot of people are saying like if the roles were reversed and it was a woman that sent them out, no one would be complaining about it. Like if a woman sent out these kind of text messages that a man sent to her, like no one would be up in rage about the girl. They'd be mad at the man. Like, so it's just like, I understand where Blake's, I get it. And I also understand why Kaylin's upset because those are very personal. And honestly, they make her look really bad. And a lot of people.
Make her look bad or she makes herself look bad in them. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's a difference.
I'll be upfront. I don't like Kaylin. I used to really like Kaylin on Colton season, but a lot of crap has come out about her, and she comes off very bad. Like on Bachelor in Paradise, and no one brought this up last night, and I've listened to a lot of other podcasts and stuff, kind of talk about it, and a lot of people aren't fans of Kaylin's, just about the fact that she's sitting there and kind of contradicting herself, saying like, Blake, you're a really good guy, you're a good guy, when she went around on the beach literally to every single person, and the first episode is just going on and on about how Blake is evil and he shuts women down and he does all this stuff and he's a bad person. And then on the reunion show, she's saying like, you're a really good guy. Like, what? Like, girl,
which is it?
Yeah, like she's always like flip-flopping and always trying to like put on a show, and I'm saying like, I don't know, like it just comes off bad. And a lot of people have come off after those text messages were released and said really awful, terrible things to her. Like they brought up on the show last night, brought up that she got a lot of heat, but she also got like a lot of very terrible messages because she was sexually assaulted, and she brought that up on Colton's season. A lot of people were saying that all these text messages and everything she said on Bachelor in Paradise kind of evaluates everything she said. So she's lying, and she like just kind of really said really terrible things to her because she had this past and that she shouldn't be sleeping around with people if she was assaulted. Like just all this stuff that's kind of like, don't like, that's terrible. Like, don't come after Kaylin. Like she's the time period I come from, which is damn near ancient.
it doesn't matter. Being sexually assaulted doesn't matter in the fact, well, maybe not the fact, but doesn't matter that you probably shouldn't be sleeping around no matter what. And I don't say that in a slut-shaming manner toward men or women. I don't care if people sleep around. I have nothing against whores or sluts or whatever people want to call whoever. Okay, I don't care. But I'm just saying that I'm a little bit older, and where I come from, it's more, the relationships mean more. And relationships weren't about sex. Relationships were about making a life together and being compatible as far as communication, views, all that kind of stuff. Like, dude, I don't care who sleeps with who or how many times they sleep with who or if they sleep with men or women or men and women or whatever. I don't care. But people, you need to keep in mind that your actions and the way you live your life are going to bring about other people putting their nose into your business. And it's not right that people put their nose into others' business. And I'm not, but it happens. And people need to be more aware of what they do, how they live their lives. They need to think a little bit farther ahead than having sex with this hot guy tonight. People need to think ahead more and be more responsible and accountable for themselves.
And that's really what it comes down to, is that she needs to be accountable for what she was saying on the show. Like, no one was telling her that she needed to apologize to Blake. Everyone was forcing Blake to apologize. And honestly, like, I don't really think he did. He kind of did.
Kind of did,
kind of. It was kind of. But
they accused him of slut shaming her, which I don't understand. They basically were saying just because he released the private messages, he was slut shaming her. No.
And he came back and said, no, I wasn't. Like,
and he wasn't. Just because you release something doesn't mean you're slut-shaming someone. No. It just means you're releasing something.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel bad. I don't think he should have been, like, pressured. And I think that was very inappropriate from everyone. And also, like, if I was in Kaylin's shoes and people around me were saying, like, telling that person to, like, apologize, I'd be like, no. I don't want him to apologize because he's only saying it because you all are making him say it. He never
exactly.
And maybe he did. Maybe he did in private and did apologize. We don't know. But if we were on a stage in front of all these people and it was being taped and people were cheering for this guy to apologize to me, I'd be like, no, thank you, because I know it's fake or I know it's not coming from you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like,
and that goes back what I was saying. If you when you're demanding an apology or whatever, all you're doing is feeding your own ego. It has nothing to do with you feeling bad and feeling that you deserve an apology. At that point, it's only to serve yourself.
Yeah. I don't know. So we just had that drama. Was there anything else?
No. That was all I had in my list.
We had Jordan and Christian gotten a little like spaz. They had 2 security guards, one on each end, just waiting there.
Come here, come shake my hand, Jordan. Come shake my hand.
So what? I feel like I'm totally messed up in this, but I didn't mind the fight because people were like, "This is so child." Like, I think it was Demi, and people were like, "This is so childish." Like, violence is never the answer. Like, I hate this. And I'm sitting there like, fight.
Yeah. Fight night, baby.
I don't know. Is there something wrong with me? Like, I was so into it. I was like, fight.
No,
Like, I love
nothing wrong with
fighting.
The fight.
Like, I love it. I'm like, come on. This is what I'm here for. Like, I'm going to see it. Like, he was
even if people are fighting for stupid reasons that they shouldn't be fighting for, it's still entertaining on at least some level.
That was the best part of the episode where he's like, come shake my hand. Come shake my hand.
Yeah.
Me, bro. I'm like, dude, I'm here for it. Also, I'm a little annoyed. Like, I mean, I love my Mike. Mike likes to just interject himself sometimes. But when Mike kept saying, like, it was not because Jordan was saying like, I did it clearly in self-defense, and he was like, no, it wasn't. And he kept like interrupting him. I could tell like Jordan was getting pissed off. He was like, dude, or whatever. I don't know. I maybe I need to rewatch this again for like the 8th time. I think Jordan was acting out of self-defense. I see a lot of people saying that he wasn't. I thought he was. I mean, like, he started it, but
he did.
And we talked about before, like, I don't think he expected Christian to react that way. And I think it probably, like, he probably got swept up into it. He probably didn't really know what was going on. He probably thought Christian was trying to elbow him because he was, like, kind of moving his elbows. And that's probably why, like, I can see where he's coming from, why he feels like it was self-defense. Because I don't think he expected it to go that way. So, I don't know.
When you're in a tussle with someone, you have no idea what's about to happen. So the only thing you can do is make sure that you end it before something bad does happen. You know what I mean? So, because I've rewatched that too quite a few times, and I'm kind of on the fence on that. It's kind of a draw in my mind because, all you can really tell is that they were, for lack of better word, hugging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is physical. And if I'm in any kind of a confrontation with someone and it gets physical, even like a point where someone's trying to hug or restrain me or whatever, yeah, man, I'm going to do whatever I've got to do to make sure that I am okay at the end of this.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm still on the fence, but I don't care enough to drop on one side of the fence or the other. It just was great entertainment, and I'll take it for what it was.
Super entertained. I don't know if there was really anything else that really stood out. My boy Cam was there, and he said some things but got shot down quickly, so whatever.
Oh,
Cam for Bachelor. Cam for Bachelor. But real quick, as we wrap things up here, they ended the episode, and we're going to end our episode the same way, talking about The Bachelor.
Oh, my gosh.
So our Bachelor was announced. I knew who it was going to be because I saw spoilers on it all over Twitter and Instagram. And Jay had no idea. And right before the show, I was texting, or we were messaging, and I was saying, like, I know who it is. Do you want to know? And you said, no, don't tell me. And then you said, if it's Peter, I'm going to freaking scream. And sorry, listeners.
Oh my gosh.
And our Bachelor for next season is Peter. We are going to do a full episode probably next week, talking about our thoughts about, like, more in-depth thoughts about Peter as a Bachelor, if we're excited or not, what we were going to expect out of his season, and then when his girls get dropped, and that gets released, we're also going to do another episode just talking about them. They all, so far, I've seen some of them, they all look the same. Right. So
I was going to say, I heard today that some of them at least had been released.
They all look the same.
And I also heard that Roxy Stryer, who had auditioned, but they'd already made their choices. But I heard that so far she's hotter than all of the girls that they've dropped so far.
For real. Like, literally, like, I'm not kidding. There's 3 of them that look exactly the same. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Ugh.
But we will get more in depth and let you all know. I don't think I'm saying that right, but we will dive deeper. There we go, into everything about. There's certain words I can't say. Go ahead.
I do want to say something about this real quick before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think that Peter is going to be the most interesting Bachelor, but that aside, I am upset. Excuse me. I am upset that. Well, I'm upset that Mike wasn't chosen. But beyond that, I'm upset about 2 things, and I'm gonna say them both here back to back. Okay, and I called out Bachelor on Twitter over this too. You know that not only are they yet to have a black man as a Bachelor, but they refuse to have average people on there. And by average, I mean average, real, everyday people. Not these pretty people, these fake pretty people with the hot bods and all this shit, okay? I mean real people. And as an average person, I mean, I'm not enraged. I'm not trying to make it huge, but dude, it is BS. It's complete BS. And I blasted them for not having, for still not picking a black gentleman as Bachelor, and also for not having average people on there. I mean, we all understand it's for the ratings, and most, in their minds at least, most of the people only want to see hot, good-looking people. Okay, but like I've said, and I'm trying to start a Twitter campaign, like I've said on there many times directed at The Bachelor, it's both funny, but it's freaking true. And it's directed at myself when I say this, so that, you know, not to insult anyone out there, it's directing it at myself when I say this to them. Fat guys deserve love too. And I mean, it's funny, but I mean it with all sincerity, yes. You know, and it's just, it fucking pisses me off, man, that, and this is a lot of what's wrong with our society, that this kind of prettiness and this kind of unobtainable beauty is being shoved down everyone's throat, and we wonder why kids are trying to be fucking Instagram stars, exactly. And models. And another thing is, not even getting into the other thing, but if anyone out there, if you feel like picking on them and you feel like maybe trying to get some average people on there, have some real people on there, which I guarantee you get average real people on there, you're going to have some real serious fun and craziness. Because these people, they're kind of, that they have on now, their kind of fun and craziness is fake as shit. Okay? Yeah. But so if y'all feel like it, send them out a hashtag that I've been shooting them every time I call them out for this. J Wade for Bachelor. Put before it if you want, because it's about me. Fat guys deserve love too. Support J Wade for Bachelor. I'm not saying I necessarily really want to be on The Bachelor. I really couldn't care less. For me, it's the point that don't put me on there, but put some average people on there. Whether they're male or female or a frickin' dog, put some average real people on there, Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelor, and Bachelorette. It's they never will, but it really is terrible. And they boast about being more inclusive and all this crap, and Chris Harrison spewing out, we just want you to find love. No, you want ratings because that equals money, which everyone understands, but don't stand there and push that stupid crap. We want to be more diverse. We're being more diverse. We're being more inclusive. You're really not. You're just saying that with very, very few and insignificant gestures to try to play it off as if you are. But that's my beef as far as a Bachelor. I'm really ticked off, man. That really does irritate the hell out of me. Both the lack of average people and the lack of a black Bachelor. They had the perfect guy sitting right up there on stage last night, and they just completely shit on him, in my opinion. So that's my rant.
For real, that was great. So I mean, like, we're gonna get into it in another episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Just real fast, I guess my thoughts about it. So I said, I found out a couple weeks ago. I was strolling through Twitter and it popped up, and I was like, I mean, I kind of had suspicions, but at that time, Mike was still on the show. He was still on Bachelor in Paradise, and I was like, okay, maybe he didn't get picked because maybe he is in a relationship, and that's why they didn't pick him, and that's fine. Then Mike went home with no one. And I started to get really kind of pissed off. And I mean, Christian Harloff on Collider Live brought up the fact that maybe he's just not charismatic, and maybe he can't carry a show or whatever. And that's why they didn't choose him. But I've watched a couple of interviews, and it didn't seem like Mike was in the running at all. And maybe they have to say things like that, but I feel like Mike's a pretty honest person, and I watched a couple of interviews, and he was like, I was never contacted. Like, they never brought it up to me. And, like, he could be lying, but now that, like, Peter's been announced, I really don't think he was. Like, I really don't think he was being, like, shy about it. So my whole thing is, it's super frustrating on two levels. Or a couple levels, but like one level, it's frustrating because everyone's saying it like he would have been the first Black Bachelor, and he was a great candidate for it. And he would have brought a lot of different women out, which would have been really cool to see. And I don't know, that's a big milestone. And he's also a veteran. And he would have been the first veteran Bachelor.
I did not know he was a veteran. Wow.
Yeah, he was in the Air Force. And as someone currently married to someone in the military, that would have been awesome to see. See that kind of be, I don't know, recognized. Like, you probably would have seen more veteran women. Like, there's just a lot of, like, different layers to it. He's this sweet guy. I don't know, like, I don't buy the whole him not being charismatic or him not being able to carry a show, because every freaking white guy that they have picked for the past, like, 4 seasons, except for Ben Higgins, who was, like, I just fell in love with him, like, and that was 5 years ago. Every single one since then is so effing boring. They are so boring. I was so mad when we found out it was going to be Colton last season, because this guy is like white toast. Like, he was so boring and so plain. But then, like, his season was actually super entertaining and insane at the end of it. But, like, I was not excited about this. And Ari was boring as heck, but he had a great end of the season too. So, like, it's just frustrating because it's like, you have this, ABC had this opportunity to do all these different firsts, and Mike seems like this very charismatic guy. He has a great head on his shoulders. He went through some real life stuff, like being in the military. I don't know if he was employed or whatever, but you could also, like, go through that kind of stuff and stuff with his ex-fiance. Like, he's a little bit older, so there's a lot of more, like, kind of things like that. They set him with a great edit on Bachelorette and The Bachelor in Paradise. Like, it was set up perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loved him. There were all these campaigns for it, and it was just kind of like, it's just kind of like a slap in the face of, like, well, here's the shiny, perfect white guy who didn't find. I mean, I'm white, so, like, whatever. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
But no, that's what it is. They picked the fucking white puppy who lives like 1 mile from the mansion.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because he literally looks like a mix between Ben and Nick, who were 2 past bachelors, and he looks like all of the bachelors, like brown hair, perfect height, perfect smile, and it's just like, it's frustrating. It's like ABC, like, you had this perfect opportunity, and now we get the same guy, and he's literally cold. Like, it's the same. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, it's literally the same. It's going to be the same crop of. It's going to be the same girls that are models and Instagram followers. And, like, honestly, like, I could not stand him on Hannah season. I'm not looking for, like, more than I could not stand Colton. Like, I could not stand him. I didn't understand what people saw until, like, the last episode that he was on, where I was like, okay, I'm kind of seeing it, but I did not understand all this love and, like, how he just looks like a young child. Like, I don't, he's a baby. Like, I don't get it. I don't find him sexy. Like, I don't feel that, like, sexy appeal. Like, I'm not going to watch it for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, I don't get it. Like, it just feels very, like, ABC, you messed up. Like, you messed up. You're stuck in your ways.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if they would do Bachelor or Bachelorette with everyday average people who are in their late 30s to 40s, early, like 41, 42, I guarantee you that would be far more entertaining than any season they've had yet, and it would do a lot better than they think it would.
For real. And I mean, I just feel bad for Peter. too right now because I'm not sure. I think it's kind of a mix where I think there are a lot of people that are really excited that he's the Bachelor, but I know there was a huge like campaign for people for it to be Mike, and I just hope like he's not getting a lot of hate because it's not really fair to Peter. Like he doesn't have a say in it, even though like he wanted to be Bachelor. Like I saw interviews where he was like, "Yeah, I want to be Bachelor." Like he wanted this. So
yeah, because he wants 30 chicks to pick from.
He wants all the followers. Like, yeah, I mean, like, I would say the same thing. I'd be like, yeah, duh, I want to be Bachelorette. Like, let's go. Like,
they probably just picked him because he went 4 times with Hannah in the windmill.
Oh my, you know how many jokes? Oh my god, just all the openings are going to be like, I'd be down to go 5 times in the windmill.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
But I mean, we went over it. But I mean, again, next week. I'm sure we'll find more things to kind of talk about.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do some reading. I'm going to do some reading up on Peter and stuff, get to know him a little bit better before we dive into the next Bachelor. So
yeah, dive into it. That comes back January 5th or 6th. Long time, but we're not going anywhere. We're going to keep having episodes every week. They're going to be shorter episodes because we're not actually going to be talking about like episodes right now, but... Yep. We are going to be recapping Hannah for as long as she's on Dancing with the Stars, like we said. We'll be talking about some news or whatever comes out in Bachelor Nation, and talking that we have the Peter episode, and we're going to have the Peter's Girls episodes, and we're coming up with some fun ideas. So just make sure you come back and listen to us. Why wouldn't you? We're a great time. And you can follow us wherever. Jay, where can people follow you? You
can follow me wherever, and where can they follow you, Sarah?
They can also follow me.
No, y'all can follow me on the Twitter at JWade1134. That is the letter J, WADE 1134.
And you can follow me on Twitter at SCBock, so that's SEABOCK. And you can find this show and more at Merc with a movie blog feed on Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Play. Just go to Anchor. It's the easiest
much
one.
easier.
And we also have our episodes on YouTube with Merc with a movie blog channel. You can find the episodes there every week. And make sure you come back next week, of course, just to listen to us to talk about random things. And as always, you can go and get that rose. Bye!